So today I'm going to show you how to make Captain America's top and gloves, and then next week I'll show you how to make the boots, pants, and the belt. So we started by getting a long sleeve blue shirt from the secondhand shop. There's a little design on the front, but that would get covered up. And so then I took some foam, and this is a little less than a 1/4 inch thick. You can find this in JoAnn Fabrics. And I cut the edges off of it at an angle, make it kind of match the shape of the shirt. And then since mine wasn't big enough, I cut another piece to go below it, and I hot glued the two pieces together so that I ended up with a single piece like this. And then out of some lighter blue material, I cut a piece that would go around that piece of foam, and I cut the corners so that it would fold easily. And then I just took some hot glue and hot glued the edges of that piece of fabric all the way around that piece of foam. So there it is once it's all glued around. And then I took a couple pieces of red vinyl, and they went about 1/3 of the way down the upper part of that blue piece. And then I took some gold beads left over from my Harley Quinn costume, and these are not actually what she had, but I didn't have any ribbon, so I just used these little beads. I was just using up stuff that I already had, but you could also use gold ribbon. So I just ran a line of glue and pressed the beads into that. And you'll have to use something other than hot glue if you're using the same kind of beads. Then I did a second line, and then I had some gold foil fabric, so I cut the 8-pointed star out of that, and I hot glued that right onto the front in the center, so it covered the two lines of beads there. You can kind of see the beads poking through. And then I took some gold puffy paint and I outlined the star, and that both covers up the raw edges and it also gives it a little bit of dimension, so it's not just a flat star on the front. And then I also did along the inside of the red edges of the vinyl. She didn't actually have these, but it just cleans up the edges so that they look smoother. And then once they're dry, they flatten out a little bit and kind of meld in a little better. And then I ran 2 more lines of those gold pyramid beads along the edges. And then down on the lower part, I ran some red vinyl lines on each side. And then I just hot glued that entire thing to the front of the blue shirt. It was big, so I had to do it in sections a little bit at a time. So once that was glued, I took some more strips of red vinyl, basically the same shape as the other ones, and I put them about 1 inch away, actually gluing them to the blue shirt. I just hot glued those to the blue shirt to make the design. So then over on the sleeves, I took some squares of red vinyl. I tucked that under the edges of that front piece a little bit, and I hot glued those all the way around the sleeve so that it went right around to the back. So on the back side, I couldn't find any pictures, so I have no idea what the back of her outfit looks like. I couldn't see anything from the trailers, so I just took some gold rickrack and I hot glued that to the back, making kind of a V, and that's basically what I've got, so your guess is as good as mine. And then I took some more of that gold rickrack and I put it along the edge of the red and then a piece down the sleeve. So for the gloves, I just took some red gloves that are left from my Flash costume actually, and I took a rectangle of red vinyl and wrapped it around my forearm. Then I marked out where it closed, and then I sewed on 2 buttons, one at the top and one at the bottom. You could also use snaps, it'd be a lot easier, but I was out of snaps, only one left. So once I had those, I cut a slit on the other side, and so the button just goes right through that. And I did that to both of them. So then I ran a couple lines of gold and glued those on. Again, this is nothing like what she had, but I just really simplified it to make it easy. And so then those just go together, the glove just goes on, and then the piece of vinyl gets wrapped around the forearm and buttoned in place. And again, this is where having snaps would really come in handy, because when you're doing this with one hand, buttons are really a little bit difficult to do. You know, I feel like I forgot something left my home planet, but I can't quite figure out what it is. Ugh, damn.